Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Average Movie Review Podcast. I had some time over last week, and I got a chance to watch The Materialists, and I have to say, um, it it was a good movie. It actually was a good movie. I wouldn't say it was a rom com. I would say it was more of a dramatic romantic comedy more than anything, or dramatic romantic movie. I wouldn't say it's comedy. I didn't laugh that much. But I really did enjoy the movie for what it was. I will say Dakota Johnson steals the entire film from both Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal. She does a wonderful, wonderful job, and she's mesmerizing to watch. And her voice is just intoxicating, I guess, like as the best way I can put it. Absolutely phenomenal. Like you are just mesmerized by her voice the entire time. The premise of the film is pretty straightforward. Uh, Chris and Dakota had a relationship. They broke up, and then they meet after what I assume is about a year or two at different parts in life. While Pedro is trying to chase after Dakota and like make her his girlfriend and whatnot, and then it's a pretty easy, simple story to follow. But what I think I loved about the film was um, the way it was shot. I love the way it was shot. The direction was beautiful. There's these little moments of how do I say this? Like I want to say like beautiful moments, to be quite honest. Just beautiful moments where you're kind of just sitting there and you're kind of watching this film. You're kind of, I guess, in a sense, like not taken aback, but you're actually involved, or you're invested into what's happening. And I think that mostly falls apart or falls due to the fact that like how they shot the film as well. Like the direction of the film was done so beautifully, so it captures you as an audience member. Whereas the story may lack a little bit of story, I guess, in the sense, right? Like it's not like anything incredible or anything special. It's a pretty simple, straightforward story. It turns out, you know, it's not more about the story, but it's just the way that everything is shown and how it's presented to you that really captures you as an audience member. Um, Personally, I found the story not too bad, just because you know it is a more realistic story, in my opinion, of two people who at the time may love each other the most, but unfortunately, financially or career wise, they're not in the same path, and it's really hard to navigate a relationship like that, right? And then when you meet that person after leaving them after a long time, you kind of reminisce and remember about all the good times, and you really ask yourself, was it worth leaving that person, right? So it's a very realistic approach to a very realistic problem, and it's honestly, it's definitely worth a watch, in my opinion. I think you will enjoy it as you watch it through. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not going to say that everybody who watches this movie is going to enjoy it. No, but you really have to kind of sit there and watch it. Like the way I judge films now is like, am I invested in the film or am I distracted by my phone? And I'll be honest, like I wasn't on my phone at all, or very little, when I was watching this movie. Like I actually enjoyed it watching at home. I don't know if it was theater worthy, but like I feel like if they had just made it, maybe designed it for directly straight to video on demand, or like straight to streaming or something like that, it might have done better. I don't know. But I don't know if it was like theater worthy. I guess like just because of the name of Pedro and like Chris and like Dakota, they thought maybe it could be something really big. And I think it was when it came out. A lot of people really enjoyed it. Not a lot of people were shitting on it, and people were telling people to go watch it. So I think overall it was still a pretty successful film, or pretty good. But again, like I don't think it's necessarily like needed to be released in theaters. This would have been a great streaming movie. Um, for this particular film as well. Chris and Pedro play their roles perfectly. It's sad because Pedro Pascal is on a high right now. Like he is on almost everything. Again, I know a lot of people hate that about him, but in this film, he doesn't do much. And honestly, like I think it works because I'm not really interested in him. I'm more invested in the relationship between Chris and Dakota, and I think Chris does a wonderful job. There's a lot of people that don't, I guess, appreciate Chris's style of acting or what he does and how he presents himself after, being in the Avengers. And people, I think they only see him as Captain America and nothing more and nothing less. But like if you've seen his other films like Gifted and even Snowpiercer and all those other films that he did in between while being Captain America, like he does a solid job. Like Knives Out, he played the role of the villain perfectly, and like I think he just I feel like there's a lot of pressure on him to perform, and I think he does perform, and I think people just don't appreciate it as much because I genuinely enjoyed him in this film, and I think his and Dakota Johnson's chemistry was really good. Like they seemed to be two like lovers that were like kind of torn apart, and now they're trying to come back to each other, and one was like kind of stopping it while the other one was trying their best to let it happen. And honestly, I thought they did a really good job. But yeah, overall, I would give this film a solid 7 out of 10. Definitely worth a watch. So do give it a watch and let me know what you guys think as well. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.